What's up, Sun Clan? It's your girl chasing SunRaee, and after forever and a day, I'm finally back with another tutorial. Today, I'll be showing you how to make this gorgeous drop sleeve cardigan. And guess what? Unlike the other patterns on my channel, I actually wrote up a full written pattern for this cardigan in sizes extra small to 3XL, and it's available for sale on my website, chasingsunraee.com, on Etsy and Ravelry, which I'll link at the top right hand corner of this video. This is a relaxed fitting sweater with slightly oversized balloon shaped sleeves and a rib cuff at the end. I designed it to have buttons, but you can totally skip them if that's not your vibe. The beauty of this sweater is how customizable it is. The color combos and themes are endless. By the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to craft a cardigan that's perfect for you or a loved one. And without further ado, let's jump right into this tutorial. Alright, first things first, grab a 5mm and a 4mm hook, some scissors, and your size 4 worsted weight yarn. I'm using basic acrylic yarn, but feel free to use whatever type works for you. You also need a sewing needle and some buttons if you want to add those to your cardigan. Totally optional, but it can really level up your look if you're into that. Now, just a heads up, this project is geared towards advanced beginners or intermediate crocheters. So if you got the basics down and are ready for a bit of a challenge, you're in the right place. This cardigan is worked from the bottom up in 3 panels, a left panel, a right panel, and a back panel. To get started, you'll want to take your chest measurement and divide that number in half. That's how wide your back panel will be. Then take that number and divide it in half again to get the width of your right and left front panels. I'm making a size small, which is a chest measurement of about 32 to 34 inches. So I'm going to start by making a slip stitch, then a foundation half double crochet of 28 stitches. That's going to be considered my row 1. But no worries if you're not familiar with the foundation half double crochet. All you got to do is chain however long you need plus 1 extra chain. Then you're going to half double crochet in the second chain from the hook and half double crochet in each stitch all the way down, and that'll be your row 1. So here I am making my foundation row, and I'm going to come back once we get to the end of this foundation row. Alrighty, so here I am coming up on the end of my first row, and this is what it looks like. Now all I'm gonna do is chain 1 and then turn my work. Now I'll just half double crochet in each stitch all the way down. How many rows you need to make depends on where you want the waist of your cardigan to stop, but don't forget to account for about 1 inch of border that we'll be adding on at the end. So keep working from where you want the bottom of your cardigan to end until you reach your armpit. For this size small, I'm adding a total of 27 rows. So I'll meet you back here once I've completed my 27 rows. So here I am, just now finishing up my row 27, and this is what your work looks like so far. Now we're about to extend the sleeve and really get into the drop of the drop sleeve. Plus, we're going to start shaping the neckline. If you're following along with the written pattern, this is reference A. To get started, we're just going to chain 1 and turn your work. And now we're going to place a half double crochet in each stitch all the way down. And here we are at that very last stitch. And now, instead of chaining 1 and turning our work like we usually do, we're going to extend the sleeve by chaining 26. So here I am just doing my chain of 26. Okay, and this is what your work should look like at this point. Now, once you've got your chain of 26, you're going to place a half double crochet in the second chain from the hook, and you're going to half double crochet in each chain and stitch down the row. And this row is going to be a decrease row as well. So once we get to the second to the last stitch, we're going to do a decrease to start shaping your neckline. So I will come back once we get to that point. And here I am just kind of giving you a close-up view of what it should look like when you transition from putting the half double crochets in the chain into putting them into the actual other half double crochets. So yeah, I just want to give you guys a close-up visual of what that looks like. And this is what your work should look like once you've got this extension connected completely. So here we are coming up on those last two half double crochets of the row. And like I said, we're going to start shaping the neckline. So we're just going to half double crochet those last two stitches together. And this is what your work should look like. And that is the end of reference A. Okay, and so now we're at row 30. So we're just going to chain up one and turn our work. For this row, we are not doing any decreases. So we're just going to half double crochet in each stitch down. And that is all we're going to do for row 30. And here we are at the end of row 30. At this point, this is what your work should look like. And now we're just going to chain up one and turn our work. Now for row 31, this is going to be a decrease row. So we're going to half double crochet in each stitch down until we get to the second to the last stitch, and like usual, we will half double crochet those last two stitches together. And here we are coming up on those last two stitches. And here we are just half double crocheting those two stitches together. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So now we're going to chain one and turn our work. And for row 32, this is a decrease row. So we're going to decrease 2 at the beginning. So we're just going to half double crochet those very first 2 stitches together. And now we're just going to place a half double crochet in each stitch down. So here we are coming up on the end of row 32. And this is what your work should look like. So now for row 33, we're going to chain up and turn our work. And for row 33, this is not a decrease row. So we're just going to place a half double crochet in each stitch down. And this is what your work should look like at the end of row 33. And we're just going to chain one and turn our work. So row 34 is a decrease row. So we're going to half double crochet, 2 together, and now we're going to half double crochet in each stitch down. And this is what your work should look like at the end of row 34. So again, we're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. And for row 35, this is not a decrease row. So we're just going to work 1 half double crochet in each stitch down. And this is what your work should look like at the end of row 35. So again, we're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. And for row 36, it is a decrease row. So what we're going to do is we're going to half double crochet, 2 together. And then we're going to place a half double crochet in each stitch down. So here we are at the end of row 36, and that is what it should look like. Just going to chain 1 and turn our work. And for row 37, it is going to be a decrease row. So we're going to half double crochet in each stitch down until we get to the very last 2 half double crochets. Here we are coming up on those last 2 half double crochet, and we're just going to half double crochet those 2 together. And that is the end of row 37. And now we're just going to chain 1 and turn our work. And now for row 38, it is no decreases. So we're just going to place 1 half double crochet in each stitch down. And that completes row 38. So now we're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. And for row 39, it is a decrease row. So we're just going to place 1 half double crochet in each stitch down until we get to the very last 2 stitches of the row. And here we are coming up on those very last 2 stitches. And as always, we're just going to half double crochet those last 2 stitches together. And that completes row 39. For row 40, we're going to chain up 1 and turn our work. And row 40 has no decreases. So we're just going to place 1 half double crochet in each stitch down. And this is what the end of row 40 should look like. And we're just going to chain up and turn our work. And for row 41, it is a decrease row. So again, we're just going to place 1 half double crochet in each stitch down. And here we are coming up on those last 2 half double crochet, and we're just going to half double crochet both of those stitches together. And that completes row 41. And now we're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. And for row 42, it is a decrease row. So we're going to half double crochet those first 2 stitches together. And then we're just going to place 1 half double crochet in each stitch down. And that completes row 42, and this is what your work should be looking like. So now we're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. And for row 43, there is no decreases. So we're just placing 1 half double crochet in each stitch down. And this is what your work should look like at the end of row 43. And we're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. And it is a decrease for row 44. So for row 44, we're going to half double crochet the first 2 together. And then we're just going to half double crochet in each stitch down. And here we are at the end of row 44, and we're just going to chain 1 and turn our work. And for row 45, there is no decrease. So we're just going to place 1 half double crochet in each stitch down. And that completes row 45. And now we're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. And now for row 46, there is a decrease. So we're going to half double crochet the first 2 stitches together. And then we're going to half double crochet in each stitch down. And that completes row 46, and this is what your work should look like. We're now going to chain up 1 and turn our work. In row 47, it is going to be a decrease row. So we're just going to half double crochet in each stitch down until we get to the very last 2 stitches. And we're just going to half double crochet those last 2 stitches together. And that completes row 47. And this is what your work should look like at the end of row 47. And now we're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. Now for row 48, there are no decreases. So we're just going to place 1 half double crochet in each stitch down. And so this is what your work should look like at the end of row 48. So now we're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. And for row 49, it is a decrease row. So we're just going to place 1 half double crochet in each stitch down until we get to the very last 2 stitches. And here we are coming up on those very last 2 stitches. And as usual, we're just going to half double crochet those 2 stitches together. And that completes row 49. And this is what your work should look like. We're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. And for row 50, which is our last row, there's no decreases. We're just going to place 1 half double crochet in each stitch down. And here we are at the end of row 50. We're just going to chain up 1 and we're going to finish off. And this is what your panel should look like. So now we're going to start working on our left panel edging. And this is how we'll connect the cardigan together. So I'm just showing you here how we're going to work it. So we're going to start here at that bottom and we're going to work our way up and then into the sleeve extension. Now for my half double crochet edging, I like to place 1 single crochet in the first 2 rows and then 2 single crochet in the 3rd row. So let me show you exactly what I mean by that. So here I am just reattaching at that very first row. I'm just going to chain up 1. I'm going to put 1 single crochet in that very first row. Then I'm going to put 1 single crochet in that very next row. And in that 3rd row, I am going to place 2 single crochet. And that is how I work at edging on a half double crochet. So like I said, that very first row gets 1 single crochet. The second one gets 1 single crochet and the 3rd one gets 2. So let's show you again. That first row, I'm putting 1 single crochet. In that 2nd row, I am putting 1 single crochet. And in that 3rd row, I am placing 2 single crochet. And again, that is how we work the edging for the half double crochet rows, okay? So as you can see, over 6 rows, you should have 8 stitches. Now that is the pattern that we're going to keep working until we get to that very last row before we did our extension, our sleeve extension. Now here we are at that very last row, and what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet 2 together that very last row with the very first stitch of our 25 extension. So here I am single crocheting those 2 together. And now we're just going to place 1 single crochet in the remaining 24 stitches of that sleeve extension. And here we are wrapping up that very last single crochet in that extension. And this is what, we're going to chain up one and finish off our work. And this is what your work should look like at this point. As you can see, we have that edging down. And now we're just going to reattach at the top right hand corner of this work. And once we reattach, all we're doing is placing a single crochet in each stitch down. So here I am reattaching. I'm just chaining up one, and now I'm just placing one single crochet in each stitch down. And here we are coming up on the very last single crochet. And we're just going to chain up one and finish off our work. And that completes our left panel, and it should look something like this. Now we're going to work up the right panel. It's done exactly the same way as the left panel, but this time the extension will be worked on the opposite side. So go ahead and work up the same number of rows as you did for the left panel before the extension, and meet me back here. For me, that's a total of 27 rows. Here we are coming up to the end of row 27, and this is what your work should look like. Now, unlike the last time where we chained up one and turned, this time we're going to finish our work off. And if you're following along with the pattern, this is reference B. So we have finished our work off, and now we're turning our work, and we're going to chain 25, and then we're going to reattach at the top right hand corner of our work. And here we are reattaching at that top right hand corner of our work with a half double crochet. And now we're just going to half double crochet in each stitch down. And here we are coming up at the very end of row 28, and this is what your work should now look like. Now remember, when we're doing the increases, we're increasing here, the inside. You never decrease on the outside where this extension is. We don't decrease there. We decrease from the inside. Since the left and right panels are worked exactly the same from this point on, I'm just going to put the decrease info on the screen for you. Feel free to pause and read it, and I'll meet you back here at the end of row 50. Just remember, only decrease on the inside edge, never where we added the sleeve extension. And here we are coming up on the end of row 50. And I'm just going to chain one and finish off my work. I'm just going to turn this over because it is the left side. So yeah, and this is what it should look like. As you see, we now have both panels done. And our next step is going to be putting on the right panel's edging, guys. So unlike the left panel's edging, we're going to start at the sleeve extension and then work our way down to the body. So we're going to reattach at the very first chain very first stitch of the sleeve extension. And then we're just going to place one single crochet in the next 24 stitches. Because remember, it was an extension of 25. So we're going to go all the way down to 24. And on that 25 stitch, we're going to single crochet it together with the first row of the body of the panel. So yeah, so here we are just placing those first 24 single crochets. And here we are coming up on that 25th one. Okay, and here we are on that 24th stitch. Like I said, we did 24, the first 24, and on that 25th one, we are going to single crochet the 25th stitch to the first row of the body of the panel. So that's what I'm doing now. Okay, and this is what it looks like. And we're just going to go back to our half double crochet row edging. Remember guys, we put the one single crochet in the first row, we put one single crochet in the second row, and then two single crochet in the third row. And just repeat that all the way down. And here we are coming up on those last few rows. And now we're just going to finish off. And this is what that edging should look like. And now we're just going to reattach at the top right hand corner of this top part of the panel. And we're just going to, just like we did on the left panel, we're just going to place one single crochet in each stitch down. And here we are coming up on that very last stitch, and we're just going to finish off. And boom, we have our right panel all finished, guys. This is what it should look like. It should look identical to the left panel, but just the opposite sides. And now we can work on the back panel. For your back panel, you're going to want to chain a chain that is half of your chest measurement plus 2 inches. Because of course, you don't want it to be skin tight. You want to be able to move in it. For me, that's going to be a total of 62. So I'm going to do a half double crochet foundation row of 62. Or if I was doing a chain, I would chain up 63 and then single crochet in the second chain from the hook and single crochet in each stitch down. So meet me back once you have completed your first row. And here we are at the very end of our very first row, and we're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work, and we're just going to half double crochet in each stitch down. And of course, you're going to work this from where you want your cardigan to stop up into your armpit. So again, remember, mine was 27 rows. So here's me coming up on my 27th row. And now I'm just going to finish off at the end of my 27th row. And as you can see, this is what your work should look like. And now I am going to chain a chain of 25. And now we're going to reattach at the top right hand corner. As you can see, I'm kind of struggling a little bit to get that done. But yeah, here I am reattaching. And now I'm going to work 1/2 double crochet in each stitch down until we get to the very end. And here we are at the very end of that row, and I'm just going to place that last 1/2 double crochet, and now I'm just going to chain 26. And that will complete row 28. Now, here we are at the end of our chain 26, and this is what your work should look like. And now I'm just going to 1/2 double crochet in the second chain from the hook. And just like before, I'm going to place a 1/2 double crochet in each chain and stitch down until we get all the way to the other side. And of course, I want to just show you guys what it looks like when you get to those very last chains, because it can be a little tricky looking sometimes. And that's just what it'll look like when you get there. And I'm just going to continue working 1/2 double crochets in each stitch down till we get to the other side. And here we are at the other side. And of course, I'm just going to place my 1/2 double crochet in those chains and continue working all the way down. And here I am at that very last chain. And this is what your work should look like now. So as you can see, we have both of those, because remember, this is the back panel. So we need both extensions. And I'm just going to chain up and turn my work. And this is row 30, and I'm just going to 1/2 double crochet in each stitch down. You are going to work evenly across until you have all of your rows. For me, that's going to be a total of 50 rows, including the body panel. So yeah, here I am coming up on my row 50. And this is what my work now looks like. And this is what our back panel looks like finished before we add on our edging. The back panel edging is worked the same way as the front panel edging. The only difference is that after you finish the first row of the back edging, you can either finish off and seam the corresponding front panel to the edging, or you can use my preferred method, the single crochet join as you go, or single crochet J-go method. This method leaves you with a beautiful clean seam that I absolutely love, and that is the way that I will be attaching the panels in this video. Because we've already went over this with the front panel edging, I'm going to kind of just fast forward until we get to the J-go method part. We're going to start at the bottom right hand corner, and just like we did before, you're going to place one single crochet in the first row, one single crochet in the second row, 2 single crochets in the third row, and of course once you get to the very last row of the body, single crochet the last row of the body in the first stitch of the 25 extension, and then you're just going to place one single crochet in each of the remaining stitches of the extension. And yeah, I'm just going to fast forward through this part. And here we are coming up on the last stitch of that extension. And this is what your work should look like at this point. And like I said before, you don't have to seam your project together the way that I'm doing. You could very well at this point, you could very well just finish off, but I'm not going to. Like I said, I'm doing the single crochet join as you go method. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain up 1 and then turn my work. Now I need to find my corresponding front panel to seam it together. Now, when you join these panels together, you want the 2 right sides to be on the inside and facing each other. You want the wrong side to be facing us, which is, we turned our work, so it's now on the wrong side. So you want the wrong side facing us, and you want the 2 inside panels to have the right sides. As you can see, you see that facing each other, and you see the back of the other one is the wrong side facing on the outside, and the 2 right sides facing on the inside. So to do the join as you go method, as you can see, I have my chain pulled up, and you're going to go into the back of the very first stitch, the one that that doesn't have the working yarn, the one that we're attaching. You're going to go into the back of that very first stitch. Here, let me just get a better view for you guys, because this can be a little tricky. You see how I have those 2 together? You go into the back of that very first stitch, and you're going to pull this loop up. And let me just adjust it, get everything situated so you guys can see. You see? I'm just going to pull my loop up, and then we're just going to single crochet in that very first stitch that the actual working yarn is attached to. And boom, that is how you single crochet J-go. So you just pull the loop up again. Let me show you. You pull the loop up, and you're going to go into the back of the panel that we're attaching stitch, and you're going to pull the yarn through, and then you're going to single crochet in the next stitch of the working yarn panel. And that's it, guys. And when I tell you, it just leaves you with this gorgeous, beautiful seam. And I know it looks very slow on camera, but it's only because I'm recording and trying to get a good view for you guys. It's really super easy to do and easy to work up once you get the hang of it. So again, pull through that back panel and then single crochet the front one. And you're just going to do that all the way down into the very last single crochet. And here we are coming up on the very last single crochets. Now you're going to do is chain up one and finish off your work. And you have seamed your project together using the single crochet Jago method. And as you can see, it leaves you with this beautiful, beautiful seam. I absolutely love it, especially when you have like a contrasting color. It just really, I don't know, it just really makes it pop. I absolutely love this method. Okay, so now we are going to work on, well, first, let me just show you guys. You see how it's attached now here at this bottom section. It's starting to come together. You can kind of see the cardigan taking its shape. And now we're going to work on the top, putting on the seam for the top part of the cardigan. So we're going to turn it with the right side facing us. And of course, we're going to reattach at the top right hand corner. And all we're going to do is, right here, all we're going to do is just place one single crochet all the way down. And here we are coming up on that very last single crochet. And this is what your work should look like. And we're just going to place a stitch marker so that we know where to start to reattach the second panel. So I'm just counting out 40 and placing a stitch marker at the 40th stitch from the right. You will want to count how many stitches you have at the top of your panel, and that is where you're going to place your stitch marker. So depending on, you know, what size you're doing, depends on where your stitch marker will be placed. But I'm doing a size small, and this stitch marker is going to be placed at the 40th stitch. And so now let's get back to attaching. So again, we're just going to chain up one and turn our work. So now we have the wrong side facing us, and I'm just looking and getting the other panel together. And again, remember, we want the right sides to be on the inside facing each other, and we want the wrong sides to be facing out towards us. See, the right side, and then that's the wrong side facing on the outside, and the other wrong side is facing me. And just like we did the last time, to do the Jago, we're just going to pull up that loop, and we're going to go into the back stitch of the other panel, and we're going to pull our loop through, and then we're going to single crochet the stitch for that front panel. Again, pull up the loop, and you're going to go into the back of the stitch on the back panel, and you're going to pull your yarn through, and then you're going to single crochet in the next stitch of the front panel. Again, go into the back of the back panel stitch, pull your yarn through, and then single crochet in the front panel stitch. You're just going to continue working that until we have all of these stitches completed. And here we are coming up on that very last one. And I'm just going to chain one and finish off. And we have that now attached. And I'm just showing you what it should look like. Okay, as you can see, that's the other side. And of course, you know where that stitch marker is, that is where we're going to be reattaching. So yeah, now we're going to seam this part together. So we have the other one seamed, now we just have to seam this part together. Okay, so I'm just turning my work back around, and I'm going to reattach where I placed my stitch marker. And I'm just going to pull that loop up, and I'm just going to do that single crochet Jago just like we've done previously. I'm not going to keep going over it because it's, you know, it's pretty much repetitive, but I'll just let it play in regular motion just so, you know, you guys can kind of just see, just in case the other two examples weren't a good example, or, you know, you couldn't see good. I'm just going to let this one go ahead and play for a few stitches. And here we are at the very last one. Of course, we're going to chain one and finish it off. And now we have the top of that one seamed together. And all we have to do now is seam that other side together. So this is what your work should be looking like. We have one body panel and top. This one's all the way sewn together. All pieces are as they should be. And this one, the top is seamed together, but we just have to seam together the side. So, and like I said, it's just like we've done previously. So I'm just going to fast forward through this entire part. And then, yeah, I'll see you guys in a minute. Now we are moving on to the sleeves of this cardigan, guys. We're almost there. So you're going to pick a side, the right or the left, is totally up to you. I'm doing the left side, which is the actual right side when you put it on. But as you can see, we have our seam. And with the seam, we're placing 3 single crochets across the seam. But since we're starting in the middle, we're going to insert our hook into the middle. And we're going to place 1 single crochet for that very middle. And then we're going to place 1 more in the seam because like I said, we're working 3, but we need to have room for 1 more when we come back around. So I'm just going to chain up 1 and I'm just going to place that single crochet down the middle. And then I'm going to place 1 more single crochet in that edging seam. And now we're just going to place them across the row edge. And like always, we're placing 1 single crochet in that very first row edge, 1 single crochet in that second row edge, and of course 2 single crochets in that third row edge. And you're just going to continue working that until we get to the top seam. Okay, and here we are coming up to the very top seam. And like I said before, we're placing 3 single crochets across the seam. So we're going to place 3 across this silver part. And so here I am placing that very first one. Here I am placing that second one. And here I am placing that third one. And now we're back working in the rows again. So remember, of course, 1 single crochet in that first row, 1 single crochet in that second row, and then 2 single crochets in that third row, all the way until we get back to the bottom seam. And here we are at the bottom seam. And of course, you know, we only placed 2 single crochets at the very beginning. So that very last single crochet is going to go right there to make it 3 all together. And then I'm just going to slip stitch in our very first single crochet. And then I'm going to chain up and turn my work. Okay, and now all we're going to do is place 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So this is our second row of single crochet. And here we are coming up on the end of that row. And once we get to that very last single crochet, we're just going to slip stitch to that very first single crochet. And I'm actually changing colors. You're going to change colors. I'm doing sleeve B from the pattern. So that is a striped sleeve. So I'm changing my yarn for that. And I'm just going to slip stitch in that very first single crochet of the row. And then I'm going to chain up 1 and turn my work. Now for these stripes, we're changing colors every 4 rows for the stripes. So like I said, I chain up 1 and I'm going to turn my work. And for this very first row, I want it to kind of stick out from the single crochets. So I'm half double crocheting in the back loop only. So for this third row, we're placing a half double crochet in each stitch around. But like I said, you're going to go in the back loop only. And this is the only row that we do that for. So place 1 half double crochet in the back loop only for each stitch around. And here I am coming up on that very last row. Well, I'm sorry, that very last stitch. And I'm going to slip stitch in that very first stitch of the row. And I'm going to chain up, and I'm going to turn my work. Like I said, that's the only row that we work in the back loop only. So we're back working regularly. So I'm just going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch around until I get to the very first stitch, and of course, you know, slip stitch and chain 1 and turn our work. But you're going to repeat this until you have a total of 4 rows with the color. So a total of 4 rows, not including the first 2 rows of single crochet, but 4 rows of half double crochet. Like I said, here we are at that beginning of the first round, and we're just going to slip stitch. And I'm having a hard time, as you can see here. And we're going to chain our work. I'm sorry, chain up, not chain our work, but chain up and turn our work. So again, do 4 rows of that half double crochet and then meet me back here. Here we are coming up on the end of those 4 rows, which gives us a total of 6 if we include our row of single crochet. And all I'm doing now is changing out my colors. So you're going to continue working 4 rows of each color, alternating between the 2, until you have a total of 32 rows. And that 32 rows, it does include the 2 rows of single crochet, and then you're just going to meet me back here. And here we are coming up on our 32nd row, the end of it. And I'm just going to slip stitch to that very first half double crochet of the row. And this is what your work should look like. Now we are going to start decreasing so that we can start kind of making it more narrow for our cuff. So I'm just going to chain up 1 and turn my work. And for this next section, what we're going to do is we're going to half double crochet in that very first stitch, and then we're going to half double crochet 2 together. And we're just going to continue repeating this all the way around. So again, that's 1 half double crochet in that first stitch, and then we're going to half double crochet 2 stitches together. And you're just going to repeat that until we get all the way to the other side. Okay, and here we are coming up on those last few stitches. And now I'm just going to slip stitch into the very first half double crochet of the row. And that completes the first row of our decreasing for our sleeve cuff. And as you can see, it's getting a little bit smaller. Okay. And so now we're just going to, of course, chain up 1 and then turn our work. And now we're just going to repeat that same row again. So again, we're just going to place 1/2 double crochet in that very first stitch. And then we're going to 1/2 double crochet 2 together those next 2 stitches. So basically it's 2 rounds of the decrease. So again, 1/2 double crochet, then 1/2 double crochet 2 together. Yep, and it looks like that. And here we are coming up on the very end of this row. And we're just going to slip stitch into that very first 1/2 double crochet of the round. Chain up 1 and turn our work. And now we are getting ready to work a row of single crochet. So we're just going to single crochet in that very first stitch, and you're going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And this is pretty much the foundation row for which the ribbing, when we get ready to work the ribbing for the sleeve cuff. And here we are at the very end of that, and we're just going to slip stitch into that very, well, now we're going to slip stitch into that very first single crochet of the round. And now we're going to start working the cuff. And this is what your work should look like thus far. So we're going to switch to our 4mm hook. And now we're just going to chain a chain of 26. And here we are coming up on the end of that chain of 26. And you see, this is what your work should look like. And now we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and we're going to place 1 single crochet and the rest of the chains all the way until we get to the end of the chain and where we put that foundation row. So here we are coming up on those last few chains. And now we're going to single crochet 2 together, the first single crochet and the one next to it. And that's what it should look like. And now we're just going to turn our work. So when you come to the bottom and single crochet 2 together, you do not chain up 1. And now, working in the back loops only, we're going to place a single crochet in each stitch down. So again, you guys, remember, you don't chain up 1. You just turn up your work. You just turn your work. But yeah, and single crochet in the back loop only. We're going to work in the back loop only for the rest of this cuff. So here we are coming up on the end of that row. As you can see, this is what your work should be looking like. And we're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. So you do chain up on the end of it, but not where the foundation row is. And again, we're just going to place 1 single crochet in the back loop only all the way down until we get back to the foundation row. Okay, and here we are at the end of that. Just putting those last few single crochet in. And here we are at that foundation row, and we're just going to single crochet 2 together, those next 2 single crochet in the foundation row. And you're just going to keep repeating that all the way around until we have no more stitches left in our foundation row to single crochet two together. Remember, when you turn your work at this end, you don't chain up that one. And just remember, we're just working in the back loop only for this. And here we are coming up on those last 2 stitches of the foundation row, and we're just going to single crochet those 2 together. And turn our work. And then we're just going to single crochet in the back loops only for each stitch down, as we have done before. And here I am coming up on the end of that, and I'm just finishing off, leaving a long enough string that we can use to sew those panels together. And so this is what your sleeve cuff should look like. So I'm just going to turn it inside out so that we can sew it together. Here I am just showing you how we're going to sew those together, just like that. I'm just threading my needle here. And all you're going to do is we're going to use a whip stitch to sew these panels together. I like to just go into the stitch and whip those right on together, seam them together, and you're just going to do that all the way down, just like I'm doing in the video. Yep, and that's how you do the whip stitch. Okay, and here I am coming up on the end of that. And now I'm just going ahead and sewing in my ends, so I don't have to do that at the end. Okay, and I'm just turning my work back inside out, and this is what your sleeve cuff should look like. I kind of fast forwarded through. Let me see if I'm going to show it here. And this is what your sleeve, this is how your finished sleeve should look, you guys. And now you're just going to go to the other side, and you're just going to do the same thing. For my other sleeve, I just did it solid, a solid color, so it's not striped, but you do the exact same thing that we just did. If you got the written pattern, you'll see that I have 3 variations of the sleeve. I have the 3 color block sleeve variation, I have the solid sleeve variation, and then we have the striped sleeve like I showed you in the video. But yes, this is what it looks like once both sleeves are completed. Now we're on the inside ribbed edging, and so we're going to switch back to our 5mm hook, and we're just going to work all around this edging, across the back and down the other side edge. And so you guys already know the vibes. We're doing the same thing we've been doing for the edging the whole entire cardigan, which is placing 1 single crochet in the first row, 1 single crochet in the second row, 2 single crochet in the third row. And you're going to work this all the way up until we get to the first seam. You're going to work this all the way up until we get to the very first seam. So here I am, I just reattached, chaining up 1, placing my first single crochet in that first row, placing my second single crochet in the second row, and now placing 3 single crochet in the third row. Okay, and you're just going to continue working that all the way up until we get to the seam. And this is what I mean when I say until we get to the seam, until we get to this section right here. And here I am coming up on that seam. And now with this seam, we're going to place 2 single crochets. However, the second one is going to be a single crochet 2 together with the first stitch of the back panel. So I'm just zooming in and we're just placing that first single crochet in the seam. And now for the second one, like I said, we're going to place a single crochet 2 together in the seam and that first stitch of the back panel, because we want to keep our corners sharp. I like for my corners to be sharp and not rounded. So yeah, we're going to single crochet it together, the seam in the first row of the back panel. Okay. And now we're just going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch across the back panel until we get to the very last stitch of the back panel. So yeah, here I am just placing a single crochet across the back. Okay, and here we are, we're getting ready to come up on that last stitch. Okay, and here we are at that last stitch of the back panel, and we're going to single crochet it together with the first single crochet that's going to go into the seam. So single crochet 2 together, that last stitch of the back panel to the first stitch of the seam. It was a little blurry, so I hope you guys were able to see that good. But yeah, that's what that looks like. And then we're just going to place our second single crochet that goes across the seam. And now we're back working across the rows. And of course, you're just doing our regular edging row repeat that we've been doing. You're going to work that all the way down until you get to the very last, well, not to the very last, but just going to work it all the way down. And so here I am working that very last one. And we're going to switch to our 4mm hook because we're getting ready to do the edging. But before we do the edging, we need to place stitch markers for where we want our buttonholes to go. Now, I did place my buttonholes on the wrong side for a woman's cardigan, so you may want to do the opposite side of what I am doing. However, starting from whichever side you decide from, you're going to count up from the bottom and you're going to place a stitch marker. And hold on, I'm looking at the pattern now because I'm not sure exactly where it's supposed to go, but let me find it. Okay, in the 3rd, the 19th, and the 34th stitch. It's going to be the same no matter which side. Just make sure that you're counting up from the bottom. So again, that's the 3rd, the 19th, and the 34th row. So here I am reattaching back on. And for the inside ribbon, we're going to chain 7. We're going to chain 7. And then we're going to place 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook. We're going to single crochet all the way down. And this is the exact same thing that we did for the sleeve cuff. You're going to do the exact same thing. The only time that we do anything differently is when we get to the buttonholes. And I'm going to show you how you're supposed to work the ribbing when you get to the buttonholes. So I'm not going to bore you and talk you guys through this. It's the exact same thing that we did with the ribbon cuff. So I'll just let the video play so that you can see. And here we are getting ready to come up on our first stitch marker in the foundation row. And I'm just going to show you how you're going to make your buttonholes. So like normal, here we are at that stitch marker, but like normal, we're just going to single crochet those 2 foundation stitches together. And then we're going to turn our work. And of course, we're still working in the back loop only. We're going to place single crochets in the first 2 stitches. And then we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to skip 2 stitches and then single crochet in those last 2 stitches. And as you can see, we now have a hole there. And now we're just going to chain up 1 and turn our work. And now we're just going to place a single crochet in those next 2 stitches. And then we're going to place 2 single crochets in that chain space hole. And then we're going to place 2 single crochet, place a single crochet in the last 2 stitches. And we're back at the foundation row. And yes, now we have our buttonhole. You guys see? That's how you put a buttonhole in ribbing. Alrighty. And here we are at the foundation. Of course, we're just going to single crochet those 2 stitches on the foundation. Then you just continue working like normal until you get to the next stitch marker. But here we are coming up at the very end. At the very end. And we're just going to finish off. And this is what your work should look like at this point. Nice thick ribbing border with our buttonholes. And like I said, I placed mine on the wrong side. So you guys make sure that you do that. Put yours on the right side. Here we are on the last section of this pattern, which is placing the ribbing edging across the bottom. So with your work upside down and facing you, we're going to reattach at the left corner. Well, left inside corner right here. We're going to work across. And now we're going to place 3 single crochet at the seam. When we get to those seam edges, we're going to place 3 single crochet there. So first things first, let's just reattach. And as you can see, we have 7 places here from where we did that ribbing, plus the foundation edge. So across this section is going to be 7 single crochet. And that's the 6 across the ribbing stitches and then the 1 in the foundation row. So we just reattach and chain 1, Just going to place a single crochet there. And in each of those stitches, so those were the first 6, and then of course we want to put one right there where we put that foundation row. And now you're just going to place one across each stitch of the panel. As you can see, I'm having a little hard time getting through all of the stitch, but there we have it. Yeah, just place one in each stitch across until we get to that very first seam. Okay, so here we are coming up on our very first seam. Like I said, we're going to place 3 single crochets across that seam. Okay, and now we're back working in the bottom part of the panel, so you're just going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch across the back panel. As you can see how that looks. And here we are coming up on the end. Like I said, you work across that back panel. When you got to that second seam, you put those 3 stitches in that second seam and work across the other side panel. And here we are coming up on the end. And of course, like always, we're going to put 7 stitches across this ribbing section. 1 in that foundation and the 6 across the ribbing. And this is what your work should look like at this point. And now we're just going to switch to our 4mm hook. And like we did the inside edging, we're just going to chain up 7 so that we can do our ribbing. And of course, you guys already know how to do this, so I'm not going to talk you through it. I've already did it like a million times in this tutorial. So yeah, you're just going to work that ribbing all the way across the foundation row of this bottom edging. And here we are coming up on the end of the bottom ribbing edge, and we're just going to finish off. And congratulations, you've just completed your beautiful crochet cardigan. I hope you enjoyed following along with this tutorial and that you learned some new techniques along the way. If you're looking to make this cardigan in other sizes, the written pattern for sizes extra small to 3XL is available for purchase on my website, ChasingSunRaee.com, Etsy, and Ravelry. Also, don't forget to come join my Facebook group, the SunRaee Sun Clan, where you can share your creations, ask questions, and connect with other crochet lovers. Whether you chose bold colors or a classic look, your cardigan is truly one of a kind. If you're proud of your work, and you should be, feel free to share pictures and tag me on social media. I'd love to see how yours turned out. Don't forget to subscribe for more crochet tutorials and project ideas. If you have any questions or suggestions for future projects, leave them in the comments below. Thanks so much for crocheting with me, and until next time, happy crocheting!